Hello and welcome to this walkthrough of Farm Simulator 18. Initial startup in the first episode. Initially, we need to sell everything that we were gifted when we took over this farm. There's 10,000 units in every silo. The trailer we start with holds 8,000 units. We're left with that wheat field that was ready to harvest, so the combine is doing that. The inn. Good price on wheat. And the inn is close to us. Like I said, we were left with this field of wheat we're harvesting. And we're also left with this field, which has been harvested. And it looks like it was canola, maybe, judging by the stubble. As I said, 10,000 units in each. We just took a load of wheat off. We're cutting wheat at the same time. So let's see how the combine is. Hopefully the price held. It's okay. And I'm not waiting on the harbor and meal to come up. Well, as I said, the inn is close to our base farm here. The initial tractors that we're working with, they aren't much. However, we need to get this thing up off the ground, so we need to start making money. Selling everything off the bat, very important. We're going to upgrade some equipment, probably vehicles to start with, tractors. Initially, you can use the what do they call it? It's basically a F-150. a Lizard pickup. It's $75,000. It's very fast. You can use it to haul your carts 80-mile-an-hour top speed without anything hooked. The only problem is when it's hooked to a load of wheat, say, it drops down to near tractor speeds pulling. But it is definitely quicker than these initial tractors. I'm liking the prices on the canola right now. So let's go ahead and run that off. Bakery, that's close. Excellent. We need to get this wheat straw up, and we're going to need a loading wagon to do that. That's about 65,000. Money's slowly coming up as we empty these silos. We're at 53 right now. Through this run of Farm Simulator 18, I'm going to try to practice best driving techniques, not driving anything in the fields unless it's working the field. The dirt is just like road, and I'm going to try to run minimally in the grass. However, it will happen as it's about to right here. I do utilize helpers. I'm more farm simulator supervisor. We've nearly got field number one. That'll be its number for now. Cut or cultivated. This field is finished. It's got, we still have wheat in the bin. Like I said, I will drive through the grass in spots. Nothing repetitive. Watching for traffic. Be nice to make a run in Farm Simulator and do not have any accidents. It's easy to do. Just drive slow. However, there are times in this when you are pressed for time. The biggest thing for me in Farm Simulator is to never let your crops spoil. Never let them turn white, rot before they're harvested. I'm pretty good at never letting that happen. Just trying to think ahead a little bit. Just a little bit of wheat, so we're just going to pit it for now. There's an excellent price on corn at the end, and the end, like I said, is close. It's great that the stock market's working with us and giving us all these initial selling points close that are paying the best. Usually it's station, harbor. I'm sending him to the store, basically. That's what this basket is, where he's headed. Because when he gets there, this is a necessity off the start. 65,000 leaves us with 9,000. I'm going to try. I keep calling it this run a farm simulator. This is my third time going through it. I have about 300 hours between the other two combined. And I know which way I started those and the way I built them. I'm hoping this will be the best yet. If you get up close to 80 hours, we'll say, money is not an object really anymore. A lot of stuff has to happen with this map. There's a lot of trees on it that'll have to be cut before we can work those big fields. I'll explain the map real quick. Right here, beside the cow shed, I'm sorry, the sheep shed, is field one. You see it doesn't have a plus sign on it because I own it. Right down here to the south is field number two beside the seeds and the silo. Below the silo and above the cow shed is the hay farm, the hay field. They're all tiny fields. They're just startup fields. Sugar beet has a decent price right now. We have to sell, so and it's at the station. So he's gonna be a minute before he gets back. That's all right. This old Case IH harvester is slow, 20-mile-an-hour top speed, but it does a good job. Personal experience, I've driven a harvester combine, we call them, um, close to this size in the late 80s. An Oliver. Okay, now we're going to get up straw. If you cut wheat, it leaves straw. You can just cultivate it if you like. However, I'll show you what we're going to be using this for. This loading wagon, however, was $65,000. And with this old equipment tractors, the base equipment, you see how fast it is. It's pretty slow trying to do any work with it. I've got the combine in the shed just for the moment because it's not doing anything. I need you back at the silo. Got our money back up to 43,000. If you're at the station, for those that don't know this, there is a shortcut that the computer does, the AI, we'll call them, the helpers will not use. And you see the covered bridge. Well, you can't for the rock right now, but if you see the covered bridge, you're at the farm. It is what is right now, field number 1. We'll be working with the livestock here pretty soon. I have one use for the livestock initially, and that is that we're going to use one type to make manure. All right, how much stuff do we have left here? Sunflower and potato need to pull. That's not the best price on sunflower. What's potato bringing right now? Potato's the least thing. It's coming up at the end. The end is close, so we need money. And hopefully that sunflower number will come up before he's back to the silo. So slow. You can definitely outdrive the AI if you take command. They just crack the throttle so much when they have to make a turn. They are safe though when it comes to traffic. Like I said, we're not driving over field surfaces. Minimal compaction. We're going to have 2,000 units left in every silo, I believe. Wheat may be different because I think wheat is empty. Come on, sunflower. It's coming up at the mill. The mill's fairly close. That's a decent price. About halfway filled this loading wagon. So slow. Chilling. And as you can see, we're not sowing anything, cultivating anything. After he finishes gathering up that wheat straw, we'll cultivate that field and then we'll start our rotation. It's probably going to be wheat off the bat. I know it does not pay as well. However, we're getting that straw off of it, which is going to be big initially. Also, we need to start working that hayfield ASAP. To do so, the only thing we're going to need is a mower because we have the loading wagon. It's the base loading wagon, but and it's expensive. 65,000 I think's hot for the base equipment, but it's a necessity. what I'm going to attempt to do is never buy fertilizer. Use all natural fertilizers. That way my farm will be totally organic. Oh, 2,400 in wheat. That's roughly 25,000 between if we empty everything, but look at all those trips you got to make for 25,000. We're holding our own at 75,000 right now. We still have to do the work with the livestock. Let's go ahead and take care of selling a lot of livestock and buying a few here initially. Also need to cut that hay field. This is the slowest in this simulation that you will ever work, pull a loading wagon, work a loading wagon. A loading wagon, as opposed to the tippers, you can see right there in the front of it, it's actually got a gear on it that is pulling in the straw. Tipper doesn't have any type of PTO equipment on it, although they do tip. This tractor, the Deutz, I call it, I've heard it pronounced Doots. I do have personal experience with in high school. A farmer I used to help in tobacco had one of these. The top was removed, however. Excellent tractor. And I see him when I get to talking, telling stories. I forget to grab my cultivator. This cultivator, it's the base cultivator. It's actually a chisel plow. Most of the rest of the plows, cultivators, whatever term you use for them, will not do the job that this one does as far as quality. However, look at how wide it is. I mean, we're not hardly cultivating anything. Left a row helper. Well, we've about gathered all the straw that we're going to have initially. All of the straw that we get up, we're going to send to the cow shed. It's right here beside the hayfield. So we're going to give the cattle straw. They can eat it. They also use it for bedding, and it also turns into manure, which is free fertilizer. Doesn't pay us any money to put the straw in there. The biogas plant would have paid us money for that. and giving us slurry back. But we want to use slurry and manure, so we got to have both types. We're not using man-made purchased fertilizer. Sticking with our fertilizer theme, we're definitely going to need this. It's 15,000. Base mower. I do not like it. However, 15,000 as opposed to I think 45 or 50 for the top of the line mower. It is definitely quicker, wider. Both of them make a lot of racket though. Finally, we got a mission. It's wheat. We have a little wheat, old man. Well, definitely help with this great demand. 28.37. Excellent price for wheat, even though we do not have much. 2,400. 4 or 5,000. But when the price is up like that, it just makes sense to sell it. It's not up like that often. I was considering using this tractor to go ahead and sow. I think I'm gonna run wheat first time in both fields so we can get the straw. But we haven't even cut hay yet. I'll send the Deutz to take care of the mission as soon as he's done chisel plowing. I like to leave that window open when I have a pending mission, just as a reminder. It is a nuisance being on the main screen like that. It does block view. However, if you minimize it, it's just you left $20,000 or 10,000 or whatever it pays, free money. The goal this type with this walkthrough is to make money, of course, enough money to buy what we want. However, I want to experience pretty much all of the equipment in Farm Simulator. The different tractors, all, and even though I might could automatically get the biggest plow, why? Go ahead and get the middle one, run it for a while, experience it. Get the edge. This tractor here, oh, I'm sorry, this is the Deutz. This tractor is it's a small Massey Ferguson base tractor, but it will do anything you need it to do. Just not at a high rate of speed. Is it time to drill? It is. I'm sorry. We're going to sow wheat. When I used equipment like this, again, back in the 80s, we called it drilling. Mostly it was drilling soybean, drilling grain sorghum. Seemed like it was always cover crops through the winter. I was in high school, guys, long time ago. But I'm glad I got to have that experience. Oh, forgot about my mission, didn't I? We'll send the Massey as soon as he finishes mowing. I just wanted to get this crop growing. When you're cutting a hay field, you do not want to stop. However, this hay on the right, the hay will start growing. Then when you finally get back to cutting what you had left, it's at a different height. You have to wait for it to grow before you can cut the whole field. Time is of the essence. However, there is time. We're picking it up at the end. I cannot remember where it said we had to take it, but from the end, I can get anywhere in a couple minutes. Hopefully, we'll have the trailer picked up by 5 minutes left. Got 3 minutes to finish this hayfield and get over there. Constantly cycling through, checking on your stuff. As you see, that he was hung up already on the cattle wagon. Those two wagons, though, after a pass or two, will be pushed back and no longer in the way. And by the way, I hate this field. When we get to using bigger equipment, we will not be working that field. It's a $70,000 field. So, just for some type of range purposes, I call that a 35-acre field. The other field is also a 35-acre field. The first field we will buy is $100,000 field, which means it's 50 acres. That's just the scale that I use for cementing in your mind. Get it all, get it all. Yes. Sometimes he'll leave a strip of grass. We're under 7 minutes. Cycle through real quick, make sure everything's working. I cannot believe that. Helpers are ignorant at times. I paid him money to make that pass for nothing. I saw my cattle over there in the cattle field. There's 5 head of cattle in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good farmer always counts his cattle. Gonna do this disco on the fly. There's the trailer. Plenty of time. See the Massey, the little Massey, wide open, 40 miles an hour with no load. Solid 40. Doesn't even fluctuate. That's not the trailer. That wasn't a mission for a trailer. That was a mission for, hey, we're paying this much right now on, I think it was wheat. There's hay on the ground waiting to be got up with the loading wagon. However, you do not have to get it up. You can cut again when it grows, and it'll be double the hay the next time, which is a cool feature that will get utilized. I think I've had 3 runs of hay on the ground before I got it up. Now time is getting definitely of the essence. But it's just we just got to go to the end from the silo. There's plenty of time. And it was wheat. Now close the mini map because I've handled that. As you can see, we are sowing for the first time. We are drilling wheat in field 1 and 2 because we want that straw. Still got to get this livestock worked. The initial setup, to me, it usually takes about an hour to get rid of everything in the silos, get your livestock set up, to start cutting hay, gathering wheat, and growing and harvesting crop. About an hour to get going. 64,000. Now that we are drilling crop wheat into the ground, as soon as it sprouts, I'd love to have fertilizer on it. We have no slurry. And we have no manure yet, although we have 454 pounds or whatever it is coming up, but it's not even 1%. I hate to do it, but I may have to buy that man made fertilizer for a time or two right here off the bat. Well, I did say I wanted to experience every piece of equipment. Wearing earbuds, I usually don't. The sound is incredible. I love the tone of this little Massey. Over the Deutz Agrastar. Send him to the store because, unfortunately, off the bat, initially, we are going to have to use man made fertilizer, and that kind of sucks. We'll only use man made fertilizer in those first 2 fields, which in time we will no longer be using. So the other fields can remain organic qualified. $15,000, but that's not the cost. The cost comes in every time you fill it up. It's about 4,000 a field, or 2,500 a field to put that man-made fertilizer, and that's just a little 35-acre field. $50,000, and we need to pick up some more equipment. Hated to have to do this, but we're experiencing all the equipment. We definitely do not want to get the big version of the man-made fertilizer spreader. I mean, it is mammoth. It's liquid, but at least our crops will have a type of fertilizer on them. You see the money go away. And you say it's not a lot. Watch how quick it goes through this. It's every field. It's that much money. Little tiny fields. But see, we have crop coming up out of the ground. That's when you want to put fertilizer on them. And I have no natural fertilizer left. Not enough to even do this field. But it's coming. Fertilization taking place. You can see how the ground is darker where it's been fertilized. Actually, the Case IH has a nice tone to it too. The Deutsch sounded a little raspy. Let's go ahead and bump this trailer on out of the way. Still need to work at livestock. It's in the back of my mind. Don't believe in having livestock that you don't feed. I fed the cows. Manure, not even 1% yet. Takes so long. It takes a biogas plant a while to, I think it's an hour and a half for a full tank. Well, that's both fields drilled with wheat. See, we still have 60% of the container left. So, in the bin. So, that's enough to do these fields again without having to buy seed. I have somebody standing right here to do that for you. He's been sent so I can close the mini map. More money that we need because we had 46, but now we have 43. So it's 3,000 to fill this up. It did not even finish that first field. It did 99% of it, but it did not finish it. As soon as he takes care of this mission, he's getting up hay so we can start making some slurry at the biogas plant for fertilizer. Let's see how close he got to finishing that field with a full load of fertilizer. Hmm. Halfway down the last strip, it looks like. I don't like the way they go just driving all through the field like that. So it takes 103% of a container to do the tiniest field with store-bought fertilizer. Been the wrong business. I like to wait for the crop to come up before I start fertilizing. You can do it right now. You can do it, hell, I think before you cultivate, but trying to do it realistically. I'm pretty sure that it's not any faster getting up hay than it was getting up straw. Definitely not. But we're on the road to free fertilizer. There's my trailer. Oh, just to the end. This is quick money. To me, the Deutz is a little bit quicker than the Little Massey. Watch the AI drive this. Yep, I would have cut through that from the side through the grass. The AI does drive well. Just sometimes they get in situations where they get hung up. They abide for the traffic. Wonder if that field's ready to fert yet. It's gonna take all day to finish up this hayfield. Yep, field's ready to spray. I don't know why I'm doing all this talking. I may just time lapse over all of it. 62K. Always keeping an eye on your money. Early, especially early. I'm lazy. I like to have enough scratch to pay a helper as I supervise them. I need a free tractor so I can work livestock. I'd like to get the livestock work before we harvest this wheat. Agristar will be ready here pretty quick. Keep an eye on fuel in the vehicles. Good thing about the base farm is there's a gas station with a wash box very close. Other side of the covered bridge. Right up that road. Now, growing towards the future, Looking at the map, this field that I do not have enough coins for, 100,000, right across from the gas station. Other side of the covered bridge over the river. I want that field. That field for 100,000 is about 70% the size of both of these first two fields combined. And as I mentioned, I want to be out of field number one, definitely, and probably this field as well before we start using real big equipment. Just too much of a bear trying to work it, especially in that field one. Slowly but surely. So the Deutsch is going to be running to the livestock market, I do believe. Yeah, we're closing in on an hour if we're not there yet, and that's about how long it takes to get all this stuff sold and set up for the initial run. And of course, we're out of fertilizer before we can even finish the second field. Money, money, money. Now we're at 59K. Buying fertilizer in this simulation sucks. My last run, I think I had 150 hours. I never got to where I didn't never have to buy any. I'd say 80% of it was natural, but I still had to buy fertilizer. But I was not utilizing manure. I was utilizing slurry only. Hopefully, manure will make up that other 20%, and we never buy fertilizer again. The helpers, when they run out of product and they have to go back and fill up, need to be checked on because they'll come back and just be stuck on a wall somewhere spraying. Tight. Let's work this livestock. I was thinking about fertilizing the hayfield. He's not done cutting yet. Perfect spot right here to sell some livestock. This is the sheep farm. There's 5 head of each unit type of animal. You have to hit the PTO for some reason to load the, and then tap, 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 tap. 5 sheep are going to the store. So that's $15,000. Not bad. We're selling all the sheep. We're selling all the pigs. We're going to buy 5 more head of cattle. So we'll have 10 cattle. That'll be our livestock for the start. Hopefully making us plenty of manure. We have to have equipment to spread manure and liquid fertilizer. So money's needed. Hopefully we'll have over 70,000 after these livestock transactions. Not even quite halfway yet. And according to all the signs, this is where the livestock market is. Oh, 75,000, 74,000 already. All right, let's go get rid of the pigs. Pig farm is way up in the northeast corner of the map. Not doing anything else. A little map exploration. It's going to cut through the farm. Driving right by the gas station with these small little tractors, it doesn't make any sense to drive by a gas station. We're going to go ahead and hit it. As I said, the other side of the covered bridge, it's on the left. We're a little dirty, so we'll go ahead and take a bath as well. The wash pit is very simple. Just drive in the box. The tractor and whatever it's hooked to gets washed. And it definitely needed it. I'd say he's halfway or takes forever. Northeast corner of the map. We're at the pig farm. Hay fields also need to be fertilized. So after he finishes getting up this hay and delivering it to the biogas, he's probably going to be spraying fert. Crop coming almost ready to cut. The little massy fuel's getting a little low, even though I think it only holds 150 units. Could be liters. I do not think it's gallons. Fields get darker to see at night, even with the headlights. There goes the pigs.
Okay. But we also want to buy 5 more head of cattle, leaving us with 58,000 after all that. Go deliver the cattle beside the hayfield. Let's check on our fertilizer situation. We know we have no slurry yet because we have put nothing in the biogas plant yet. However, 1% of manure left. That hurts. Well, we'll be able to take this wheat straw and send some of it to the biogas. Maybe with the 5 more head of cattle, that should be doubled fairly soon. Wheat still not ready to cut. There's my cows. Y'all are getting some buddies. See if you can see them go into the field. Yep. 10 head in that little spot. That's kind of tight. It's a simulation, y'all. That's a huge cattle range. Look at the map. Cattle. Yeah, they get to range. All this rock isn't really here. It's really their field all the way, and there's where they get their water. And now we no longer need this cattle transporter. So, ooh, 24,000. Thank you. Still taking forever getting that hay up. This wheat field is in stage 3. The other wheat field is ready to cut. This will fertilize in your hay field, your crops, 40% more yield. So definitely makes sense too. Come on, little Massey. Don't get run over. Just watching for conflicts between the two tractors. Anytime you've got stuff working in proximity of each other, better pay attention. Really doesn't mean that much right now with 2 tractors and a combine, but when you're working a big combine and 4 or 5 pieces of equipment or 7 tractors. We will get there. One more pass, it looks like. Thinking Little Massey is not going to get out of the field. Out of fertilizer. Imagine that. Good timing though. I think this is the 4th time I've come to this tank, so that's $12,000. Is it easier? Yes. Does it make financial sense? No. We're cutting weed, aren't we? Finally getting something in the biogas plant. 57% of the little basket. Trailer conflict there. Mm. The biogas plant. Finally, we're here. That little bit we just dumped gave us 2,389 units of slurry. In order to start spreading slurry, we're going to need that, which is 39,000. That's enough for the initial setup. That's over an hour, I'm sure. Be back with the next one very soon. Thanks for watching.